Welcome to a brand new edition of Let's Talk Tech. This is the Tradepass podcast, and we have different guests. Absolutely incredible minds, sparkling minds from across the world. And we have Irene Irungu on this episode, joining us all the way from Kenya. Irene is the head of program delivery innovation at Stanbic Bank Kenya Limited, and it's all coming together at the World Financial Innovation Series, 24th and 25th of May 2023 at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, Nairobi, Kenya. Irene, thanks so much for joining us. Good day and welcome to the Tradepass podcast.
Hey Jen, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I love what's happening on your wall behind. It's so creative. Tell us about it.
All right, so and of course, this has been a long time coming, so I'm really excited to have this session today. And Jane, thanks for hosting. So my office, I actually work for Stanbic Bank in Kenya. We have an innovation hub that was set up before I actually joined. And one of the things that they've done on the walls, which I found amazing, was lessons from our MIT innovation and like some of the teachings that they got from MIT, and they've put stuff on the wall that's really, really amazing. And it's good when you're stressed. So you kind of sit here and stare at the wall, quite literally. It helps to unlock ideas and thoughts, but it's a beautiful, beautiful piece.
I love it when art comes together with minds that are such amazing and incredible minds from across the world, especially because you're constantly innovating. That is at the centerfold of your job. In terms of innovation, financial innovation, and Kenya being an absolutely innovative country when it comes to finance, out beating so many of your other African counterparts. Tell us, if you had to tell us why Kenya is the perfect place for us to do World Financial Innovation Series Kenya, what would the reason be?
I think the simple answer is financial inclusion. So remember, money makes the world go round. That is just a reality. And if you can find a way to make money move, that's what makes Kenya the hub. And because then money moves, everything else that comes with it begins to become a lot easier. So I remember this one time I was having a meeting with someone from a different country, and I was explaining how money comes to your phone, and it's an SMS. And the guy goes, "What do you mean?" And it's true. It's money in your phone. And he goes, "No." And of course, M-Pesa came into play. Mobile banking has then grown into the financial space. But it's very interesting. On the first time you see an SMS saying you received X amount on your phone, it's literally magic. So Kenya has happened to have that opportunity, and then everything else kind of has grown on that and built on that.
All right. So yes, Kenya is at the center of things, and I really want to know, if you had to describe your job in a line, and also a little bit about your professional background that fueled your start as a project coordinator, a BD, a business analyst, and then brought you to Stanbic Bank, which was founded almost 150 years ago. So a young person innovating for a 150-year-old brand. How exactly does all that come together?
Luck and a lot of hard work. I have always had the opportunity to see things happen before they happen. Like excellent example is everyone who knows me knows I like whiteboards because it gives you a white canvas. It gives you an opportunity to write what you're thinking. And my job is to take then what was written on the board and make it a reality. So it's always kind of come together because when I went to school, so I did tech in school. And I've never used tech, believe it or not. I've always run projects, but in tech. So I've never like coded or did what you would call heavy tech. But I've always managed technology projects and technology led initiatives. And lucky for me, I've always been somehow there when new things are happening. When mobile banking was beginning to be taken up in banks, I was actually working for Equity Bank. And now we have to kind of spin off what we know about financial services and now in Stanbic, which is 150 years old. So it's been amazing. It's just been an amazing journey for me with luck and a lot of hard work.
Well, they say that luck and hard work, when it comes together, well, there's definitely a spark that is born. That's what you bring,
There you
Irene, to
go.
the table. I really want to go across to the next question. Since you talked about luck, we definitely want to talk about how luck can be streamlined into something more versatile, more detail oriented. Because when it comes to information and communications, technology and project management, in the ICT space in the banking industry, that's something that you have a specialization in. And with
Mhm.
Stanbic Bank being a corporate and retail bank licensed by the Central Bank of Kenya, currently on the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and currently the sixth largest bank in Kenya. How do you innovate year on year? Because this is a massive bank you're working for, and you're young. You've got that mural behind you. You've got innovation going on and on. How do you keep that energy alive?
So, quite honestly, it's a question of solving. We have to solve a problem. And the problem is presented. It presents itself in many different forms. The key is finding out which is the right problem to solve, and which problem, if I solve now, creates opportunity for another problem to be solved and another one to be solved, and so on and so forth. And what I mean by that is certain things kind of come together. When we started mobile banking and it worked, cloud came into play. So, then the opportunity of using cloud to host platforms comes into play. And then you realize, okay, if we can do this for financial services, we can actually do this for insurance. Okay. And then so it kind of builds one after another. But to be quite honest, it's a lot of what I would call conceptual thinking. It's important to understand things in literally their simplest form. Otherwise, what you end up having is what people call jargon or text speak, and it's very hard to sell that or solve for somebody when it's that complicated. So really, it's just keeping things simple and finding the right solution or the right problem to solve, and then that problem unlocks another one and unlocks another one, and I guess that's what now begins to be called luck, as we discussed earlier.
Well, it is just something that you do day after day, and you perfect that, and you keep innovating. Of course, you get lucky, but
Yeah.
because you work in innovation in banking, if you had to launch something fresh or different for 2023, 2024, what is the thought process that goes behind it? How do you start on the whiteboard, quite literally speaking, a brand new fresh strategy? How do you think differently?
Okay, so a lot of research. There's a lot of research. You almost, when a problem is big enough, you hear it in almost every forum. You'll go for a business meeting, you'll hear it. You'll go for an operations meeting, you'll hear it. You go for a customer visit, you will hear it. A lot of times, the problem we're solving kind of presents itself, to be quite honest. And it's really a level of engagement you have to go into. And when we get those ideas, the first thing we do is look at the opportunity. I remember when I said the right problem to solve, we look at the opportunity. If I solve this problem, how many people have I solved it for? If I solve this problem, what does it open? So we go into what is called opportunity mapping, and it's almost like saying, okay, we have 300 people we need to support versus 10,000 people. Which one works for the other? The other way to look at it is, how will we do this? So there is something called a matrix of difficult. It can be difficult to do, but very important to do. Or it can be easy to do, and it's a quick win. So now that's how you make decisions around creating a roadmap. Once we agree on the roadmap, we literally go into it and just start building, and we make mistakes, and then we learn from them, and then we continue and continue, and the process just keeps going. A lot of times, we just keep at it. Quite honestly, it can be exhausting, but we keep at it. We keep at it, and we do find amazing things coming together with a lot of the teams that we work with.
So, in terms of innovation, Stanbic Bank, as a corporate and retail bank licensed by the Central Bank of Kenya, it's being taken care of by you. You are head of program delivery innovation. But in terms of, your own skill sets, Irene, I mean, you have perfect skills in project planning, business analysis, change management, leadership, training management, and once again, risk assessment. If you had to give us the top three skills required to innovate constantly at your bank, at Stanbic Bank Kenya, what would those skills be for you, according to you?
Right. For me, I would say business analysis. And analysis is both ways, both technical analysis and business analysis. Why that is the case is you get a lot of information. So you have to learn how to sift through it, see dots, create patterns, understand why those patterns are happening. So the analytical perspective is very critical. The second one is you just have to be organized. Project management is a skill that allows you to be organized, to use different resources to make something happen. And I guess the last one would be listening. I know it's not an actual, skill that you can go to class to, but listening is very critical because you pick up things when people are talking that they wouldn't quite write down or write in a memo or explain in person. Listening is very, very critical. So I would say analysis, project management, and listening.
I love it. Top three skills required, I think, in most jobs to innovate, really. But, I'm just going to connect what you talked about in terms of listening. And I'm sure you're listening to the ground shaking when it comes to how Kenya has really pushed the envelope when it comes to financial innovation. You guys are the Silicon Savannah of Africa. Your growth rates are exponential when it comes to e-commerce and, banking in general. The young Kenyan is very exposed. So when you're listening to what is happening with financial innovation in Kenya, what are you hearing from the market, and what are some of the top three trends, for example, that you are observing in the banking and finance space in your country?
So I'd say a couple. Number one is lending, digital lending. It did start a while back, and it started with what you'd call small ticket items, 2,000 shillings, 3,000 shillings. So what has happened is lending in itself was a primarily bank service that used to be given. But now fintechs have come in, technology people have come in. But fundamentally, it's banks who understand how lending is done. So digital lending is creating different ways of doing it. Why money is still needed in order for the economy to grow. Credit is a very critical component of growth. So lending is a big one, digital lending. The second one we are seeing is, of course, mobile fast everything, mobile fast financial, mobile fast wealth management. Now people want to save money. Now they want to play in the stock exchange. Now they want to do those kind of things, but they want to do it off their phone. They don't want to walk to to a branch to do it. They don't want to go somewhere else to do it. So the financial inclusion conversation is becoming bigger than just payments. It's now going into wealth management. It's going into asset management and those kind of things that are beginning to help the youth, which, a lot of these things are done by, our parents. No one bothers about stock and things like those, right? But now people are beginning to see that. And of course, the fun one, which is AI. Quite honestly, I think AI is still a bit early in the financial space, but I see opportunities for it to help what you'd call processing side of things, the back end side of things, where movement of documents, movement of approvals, and those kind of things, learning from the data that we are collecting to give customers personalized services. AI will begin to become a big one. I think it's still early, in my opinion, but it will definitely become one of the big things that we need to look into.
I love it. I mean, in terms of AI, ML, Power BI, banking is looking at an overall shift, and with everything being digital and there's so much innovation that you're at the center of, is there one particular practical way that you see AI or ML or Power BI or any of these latest technologies helping you on the ground in Kenya with the banking and financial space?
So interesting, recently we were developing a lending product, and one of the things around lending is the decision. How do I decide Jane can pay back 1 million or 10 million or 3 million or 5 million? A lot of that is something called a data model, and that data model is heavy. It is heavy. If I showed it to you on Excel, you'd ask me why we are having this conversation. So we have managed to develop some bespoke models that allow us to create, to give you an instantaneous response as opposed to you waiting for a week and a half, etc. We have managed to develop a model in-house that helps us. It also helps that we have a lot of support from our Standard Bank group, who we call our big brother. Our big brother has had that experience with that size, so they kind of help us work through some of these things. The big one I would say is credit decision engines. Those are big. The other one we are seeing is personalization. So what happens is depending on your behavior, we are able to say, okay, you know what, Jane, you need to save, please. So next month you need to save X. This other month your spending has gone up, it's gone down. Those kind of things are beginning to come into play from a data BI perspective. And then from a leadership perspective, in terms of trying to make decisions, what are the right projects? What are the right investments? What are the right customers to go into? What products are working? What products are not? So management decisioning is beginning to take up BI as a means of making the decisions. That is really, really helpful for the organization.
I love it. I love how you have gone pretty in depth into how to use AI and how to, use technology, and you're making it pretty simple. I think you're following the KISS principle, which is keep it simple and silly, but at the same time, keep it advanced and forward. I love how you've used technology, and I love the fact that, you're so open to learning and listening and to constantly analyzing and putting it back there. But I just want to find out, a Boston Consulting Group study found that banks that excel at providing a seamless digital experience provide almost 10% more revenue than their peers. So, to give a satisfactory digital experience to your customer, considering you're at Stanbic, what are the one or two things that you have to keep in mind so that your customer is first, but you're also innovating constantly? How do you bridge
Balance.
that gap?
So we have what you call customer feedback, right? So customer feedback comes in multiple forms. In previous years, customer feedback was a survey. So, you ask a question, they give you an answer. You ask a question, they give you an answer. How we are receiving customer feedback now is really by what they do on their phone. So you'll notice, and we had this conversation the other day, and we're discussing how a lot of our mobile banking apps have a lot of, when you log in, you see 200 images or, so many things on it. And we realize in total, on average, people are probably just using five or so of those features. And what the biggest one is? Balance inquiry. So if your balance inquiry is not working, I will not. You will never reach wealth. You will never reach insurance. You will never reach all those things. So the question becomes: how do we balance providing things on the app that customers will use, and making sure that the things that are supposed to be working are working? So we use something called the pyramid of requests, and we kind of filter and we say, okay, anything basic must work. Someone should be able to log in, they should be able to see their balance, they should be able to to send money. Let's focus on that, make that work. Then go to the next level. What are the patterns we are seeing? And then now you start going into it's actually called Moscow: must have, should have, could have, and we can wait. This one can wait, right? So that's how we make those decisions. And again, like I said, data plays into that quite a bit.
Lovely. I mean, the way that you use data, the way that you use possibly big data, the way that you use AI, ML, and just simplifying the experience for the consumer, making your mobile banking apps way more customer friendly. I enjoyed this entire conversation. Before we actually finish this podcast in just a bit, Kenya is at the center of a big change. Kenya Vision 2030 that the government of Kenya has put forward. 82.9% of Kenya's adult population have access to at least one financial product. Your country is Silicon Savannah. Huge advantages that are stacked in your favor. What is the one thing that you would possibly, put out there for people to say that Kenya is the place to be, the country to be in when it comes to innovation, and especially with the World Financial Innovation Series?
The reality is the people. We have brilliant minds. And the funny thing about when we're reviewing products, the biggest problem we have is fraud. And you almost have to build this product and define how it can be broken, right? And so every so often when you do release a product, in 3 weeks people have figured it out. We have such brilliant minds. I cannot overemphasize the importance of the brilliance of minds that we have. So as leadership, we have to find a way to harness the brilliant minds, train them in the right direction, and then mentor them and grow them into the leadership that there is. The people are everything. There's no other way to explain that. And you'll see that by a lot of the big companies are beginning to set shop in Kenya. Microsoft are here, and so on and so. So all these people are beginning to come in because of the brilliance of the minds that are here. Even with all the problems we have as a country, we have brilliant minds in this country.
I love it. Karibu Sana is something that I have learned from your counterparts.
Yeah,
Everybody is going to everybody is going to come together on the 24th and 25th of May, WFIS Kenya. It is going to be pretty incredible. And, we have hashtagged it, hashtag WFIS Kenya, World Financial Innovation Series, powering East Africa's financial hub with the next wave of technologies. Your final shout out to everybody as to why everything coming together on the 24th and 25th of May with your counterparts from the industry is going to just be flabbergasting, incredible, and just out of the world, and how much you're looking forward to it.
Just looking forward to it. I mean, remember the thing with innovation, like I said, is really about everyone. So coming together, hearing what other people are doing, what have they seen that we haven't seen, what are we seeing that they are not seeing? Just looking forward to the camaraderie and making sure that we are moving our country in the right direction. I'm definitely looking forward to this opportunity.
Well, I always end the podcast by asking about something super fun, and that is usually about the country in itself. In terms of food, culture, places to visit, we're all there on the 24th and 25th of May for the World Financial Innovation Series. But three things about Kenya, especially in Nairobi, that everybody has to try. I mean, it could be food, culture, music, nightlife, whatever. Can you give us three reasons why Kenya is insane and you love the country?
Yeah, so the big one really. Unfortunately, it's not in Nairobi. You need to go to our coast. Our coast is amazing, beautiful. I wish if everyone can get time, add a few days to your trip. Please go down to the coast. It's fantastic. So in my culture, we have this food called githeri, which is a mix of of rice and beans, and we turn it into a mashed meal that goes fantastic with nyama choma. So for everyone who comes, make sure you have nyama choma. You can call me aside. I'll show you nice places. We don't talk about them because then everyone will flood. So we just want you to come. So you have to have nyama choma and ugali. That you must do. And I think the third one is really just take a walk, go around. We have a national park literally in the middle of the city. So that would be a fun one for especially people who don't have parks near them. That would be a really fantastic one.
Well, the parks, the food, the recreation, the coastline, and in general, all the financial innovation, which is absolutely explosive stuff. I'm so excited about WFI's Kenya and meeting you, Irene. It is going to be a lot of innovation and conversation and exchange of ideas and collaboration. So thanks so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. We will see you at hashtag WFI's Kenya very soon at Nairobi.
In Nairobi, looking forward to hosting. Please come through. We'll definitely enjoy the few days that we are together.
Karibu sana.
Oh,
That is
yes,
exactly what I want to
there
leave you
you
guys with.
go.